Hello everybody, welcome back to G5 Philippines. In today's episode we have the unique and exciting pleasure of interviewing a friend of mine here in San Carlos, Marie Broche. Brose. Okay. I'm editing part 2, which is our talk about healthcare, health insurance, stuff like that. And it suddenly occurs to me that we did a 3 or 4 minute introduction of Marie, talking about her different lines of business, her education, her background stuff, in part 1 talking about real estate and financing. So I'm not going to put that introduction into this video. I'm going to put a little button up here that you can click on to go watch part 1 of the talking about real estate financing, and see her introduction and all that. If you already watched that video, then great. We'll just continue with talking about health insurance. All right, let's get back to the video. And their interests and concerns with real estate, owning properties, health insurances, and those kinds of things, as well as I have young children, so education is a third item that I'm particularly interested in, especially higher education. If I haven't misunderstood, you also sell health insurance?
Yes, I am.
For expats?
Yes,
Okay.
basically we have health insurance, and we have also life insurance, and yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why I am called Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a single mom.
Okay.
I have to find means and ways on how I can generate income
Sure.
for my children.
Sure.
So yeah, basically those things, they are actually complementing each other.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people is looking house a lot, basic needs, the
Yeah.
health, living,
Especially expats.
yes,
Especially guys that have just moved to the Philippines. So I'm going to give a little bit of a brief. My situation, we did purchase PhilHealth prior to our third child being conceived and then eventually born. And it's so inexpensive. I think we were paying 900 pesos per quarter. So you're talking about $80 for the year, not even. That ended up when we had the baby, and you settle up on the day. You don't leave the hospital until you've paid the bill. And so, but after the PhilHealth discounts that kicked in for everything, I literally walked out of there. I think my total out the door was 20,000, 25,000 pesos. I remember it being about $500. So about 25,000 pesos. From what our sister-in-law said, it was around 35%. Does that sound right to you?
yeah.
So off the total bill, we saved about 30 or 35%, whatever. When I'm asking Marie about health insurance, I'm not talking about PhilHealth. I'm talking about more comprehensive insurance that we're accustomed to, that provides co-pays, healthcare coverage. I'm going to ask Marie to deep dive a little bit on how an expat can get comprehensive health insurance.
All right. Okay. So yeah, getting sick is actually very expensive, right? So just like you mentioned, without those health insurance that you have here in the Philippines, although you have insurance in the U.S., but you cannot use that in the Philippines.
I don't have health insurance in the U.S.
Okay.
I have a life insurance policy, but I don't have any health insurance.
I see. That's the thing. A lot of people doesn't have health insurance. It's too late for them to realize how important to have health insurance, because not all the time we're gonna get healthy, right? So there will gonna be a point in time that we get sick,
Right.
nor our family, right?
Let me interrupt you for just a second, and I want to sort of qualify, because a lot of you guys are going to go, "Whoa, dude, you don't have insurance? What's up with I chose to self-insure, meaning that as medical issues arise, I just cover it out of pocket. The healthcare costs are so nominal compared to what you would pay in the U.S. that in almost 6 years, we've not had any issues. The PhilHealth thing giving us a little bit of a discount from the childbirth cost, yeah, that's great. But as Marie is alluding to, you never know when something catastrophic can happen, some sort of illness or, whatever sets in. And most of us guys are not moving over here at 18 years old. We're moving over here in our later years. So I definitely don't want to give the impression that I, minimize the need for health insurance. I'm just saying that so far it's been okay. But Marie and I have already been talking a little bit about, looking at some different healthcare plans. So I wanted to sort of qualify, for the listeners.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand that because, just like we mentioned earlier, we don't know when it's gonna happen. Just like the pandemic, for instance, right? A lot of people died and it cost them millions.
Yeah.
They don't have insurance.
Yep.
What will happen? They're just gonna wrap them up in a black bag and throw them away. Wow. It's sad. It's really a sad thing. Yeah. But if you have insurance, if you have PhilHealth, it's a government insurance, but private and government can have that. But the thing is, the only coverage for PhilHealth, it's only in the hospital. It's only hospitalization.
Okay.
Right? But if you have HMO or health maintenance organization, that covers dental, health insurance, and then even the like if you're not sick, but you just want to have a physical annual exam,
right.
It's free because you have HMO.
Okay.
So nothing to lose.
So this is what you're talking about is this kind of health insurance that we're used to. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and then, like for instance, if you want to have your tooth extracted, you can just use that health insurance that you have, not the PhilHealth. It's different one.
I know for every family it's going to be different.
Yeah.
But can you give us
also age categories?
Right. So can you give us an average, an idea of what is it monthly, or do you pay for it annually, or and what is, let's just say, an average family of 5, parents and 3 kids. Again, I realize there's a lot of particulars, but can you give us a ballpark of what the cost would be?
Right, sure. Okay, here's the thing. There's a lot of categories, right? There's a lot of packages. And like for instance, there's a lot of HMO companies as well that different what do you call this? Different offerings, different categories or something like that.
Right.
Okay. So for instance, for individuals, and then the coverage is 50,000 per illness. All right. So if you say per illness, so you are covered. For example, you got hospitalized for chicken pox, so you're covered for the entire year for 50,000, for instance, and then you're only paying that for 2,000, 3,000 a month.
Okay. So let me clarify what she's saying, because when she said 50,000, I'm like, whoa, that's expensive. No, what she's saying is the coverage is 50,000, but the payment is
only like 2,000, 3,000.
So for $1,000 worth of coverage for a particular illness, and I'm learning this as we go here. So from what I'm understanding, a $50,000 coverage for a particular illness, but your cost is only 2,000 or 3,000 pesos. Is that total, or is that per month? Or
here's the thing. I got copies here.
Okay.
Just for instance, there's a lot of HMO. And the one that I work for, it's like, for instance, if for those family who have low income, all right, so you'll be paying the health insurance for 2 years, and the coverage is 3 years, okay? So there are age group, okay? And then, for instance, for the whole year, and then per illness is 50,000. And then there are different rates that you're going to pay, okay? For instance, there is, for the whole year, you're just paying 26,000 pesos. There are also, 30,000, different categories, different age, different amount, okay? So for instance, if you get sick for one sickness, then you're covered for 50,000 pesos, right? So what if 2 months after you get the same illness? You're not able to cover that one.
So it's limited to a certain amount.
Yeah, but what if you get different illness today, and then the following month you get another different illness? You're covered for another 50,000 every illness.
Okay. I see.
Okay, so you can't be covered for the same illness in a year.
So the 25,000 premium or the payment,
Yeah.
is that for the different sicknesses,
Yeah,
or
different-
is that each?
No, that's the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the comprehensive coverage is covered. This is going to be, when you talk about money, this is the most important thing to people. So I'm just trying to get an idea. So for a comprehensive plan, you're talking 25,000 annual. So that's about $500. But for various illnesses, you get coverage up to 50,000, which is about $1,000. Now you're saying if somebody got, let's just use COVID as an example. You got sick with COVID, you went to the hospital, and you used up that 50,000 pesos. Then 3 months later, you get COVID again, you're out of luck.
Yes.
Okay. But if you got sick with
Different
something
illness.
else, then you're
You
still
get
covered.
another. Yeah.
So I'll be honest, that kind of doesn't make sense, because you never know what you're going to get sick with. I mean, it
Yes,
seems like
that's
the coverage would be the coverage no matter what the illness.
yeah.
don't know.
It's all right. For instance, okay, just like I said, it's let's say 25,000. That amount is for from 7 years old to 34 years old. So what they are paying, but you could pay like
Well, let's
quarterly for that for 3,000, right?
let's bump up to the 50 and 60-year-olds, because that's
Yeah,
where
okay.
a lot of these guys are going to be.
Okay, so we have like, if you are 55 years old, okay, let's go to 45 years old.
Okay.
If you are 45 years old to 54 years old, all right, and your contract price would be 35,000, right? And that's the coverage of that is like 50,000 per illness.
Per illness.
Yeah, per illness.
Okay.
But you have dental in there, you have physical exam in there, right? You will say like, it's gonna be expensive.
What about a car accident where you break your leg? I mean,
Yeah, it's still covered
is that
because you're
considered
gonna.
is that considered an illness?
Yeah, there is also a category in that, and
Okay.
you have also you get paid for that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we could talk about this for 3 hours, but that gives us a sort of a general idea of what, obviously everybody's plan is going to be different. I'm overweight, so I'm going to have tendencies towards diabetes, which I don't, thank goodness. There's things that I might, and so obviously when you sit down and you consult with Marie about your insurance, these are the kind of things you're going to have to build a custom plan around you and your family. So, but in general, we're looking at around 25 to 30,000 or 35,000 or so per year for coverage. And based on what she's explaining, it's comprehensive coverage. So great. That really answers a lot of questions for me.
And then can I just add to it, okay? For instance, if you have like pre-existing, right? Pre-existing sickness or illness, okay? For the first year, you're not covered.
Okay.
If you get hospitalized for that kind
For
of pre-existing. Yeah.
And in the U.S., there's a lot of strict guidelines around pre-existing, so that's understandable.
But on the second year, your pre-existing can covers.
It kicks in. Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And then you also made the comment that you could pay quarterly.
Yeah, you could pay quarterly, you could pay semi-annual, annual, monthly. I would just give an example though, okay? Just real quick, okay? I had known someone, okay? And he got insurance in the US. And then all of a sudden, he got burned, third-degree burn. And then what happened is they don't have insurance in the Philippines. And every day, it's very expensive.
Right.
You're gonna get cash.
Right.
You're not gonna be taken care of if you don't pay cash.
Yeah.
Because every day they're asking for money.
Yep.
So that you'll be, you'll be attended. And then for instance, they're gonna say, oh, I need 100,000. Question is, yes, I'm saving for my illness.
Right.
But do you have 100,000 every day? If you have a saving of 1 million, but every day they're cashing you out for 100,000 because of that very, very, critical illness that you have.
That's devastation.
Yeah.
I mean, even for me, that would be, well, I guess I got to go home.
Yeah.
And good luck if you live or die.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is true, guys. One thing, if you have health issues, if you're thinking about moving to the Philippines, you really need to know what's up, because you could get yourself into a real bad situation really quick. Now, I do boast about the cost of healthcare being very nominal, and that's true. But what she's talking about is these catastrophic type situations. You gotta know that you're prepared for that. So, and guys, for each of these segments, drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to provide Marie's contact information. She'll be very happy to answer these questions. So we got that covered.